Welcome into the Calvary Coaches Show. It looks a little bit different, some technical difficulties this afternoon, but nonetheless, the Cavaliers are on to the Final Four of the GHSA State Championships with the head football coach of the Cavaliers. I am Jeffrey Roberts. It was a 52-7 domination of Whitefield Academy last Friday for the Cavs. They are now 11-1. 11 wins marks the first coach in Calvary history to have 11 wins in their first season. So congrats to you, Coach Cameron. We'll start there. We kind of talked a little bit about it earlier in the year, first to do this, first to do that. That's a lot of games to win in year one. I know the foundation was there. What does it mean to have that mark?
That's great. It means that we got a great group of players, got a great group of coaches. We got some great young men that come and work their butt off every single day for us. I couldn't ask for a better group to coach. They've been so much fun. We just talked about it. You've got to know them a bunch, and they're just a great group of guys. They love playing football. They love Calvary, and they bring it every day. When your best players are your hardest workers, coaches always talk about it, that it's easy to coach, and that's how I felt this year. Our best players, a lot of them, are also our hardest workers. So it's been a really fun season so far, and hopefully it's not done yet.
It strongly correlates to win when the brotherhood is strong. Whitefield Academy is not a team that loses 52-7. They did at the SSC 5 days ago. How does that brother correlate to that?
Listen, you're always confident going into games, and I always tell guys I'm not nervous if we're prepared, and I felt like we were really prepared for Whitefield. Did I think we were going to win the game that way? No, not even close. I thought we were in for a war. I told our guys it was going to be like a heavyweight fight, counter punches and adjustments and this and that, but what showed was our physicality. We came out, man, and we were just physical. It was the first play of the game. Braxton Bell, Deshaun Wiley filled on their best player, number one, and hit him pretty good. 2 or 3 plays later, we get a pick. And next drive, Deshaun Wiley knocks someone's helmet off. Our guys' approach. I thought it was our best game of the year. All facets of the game, we played at a high level, and we were physical throughout the entire night.
Let's start on the offensive side of the football because you guys put up 52 points. It's the 4th time this season you score 50-plus. What was working so well? I know that first touchdown, it's out of the running back room. That's where kind of it started on Friday.
We pounded the football this week. When you're statting, you call the game and, you don't realize it. After statting the game, I didn't realize. I think the first drive was 7 or 8 plays, and we had like 7 run plays on the first drive, and we just continued to sustain drives. We'll get numerous first downs, and we run 2-3 guys. I'm saying they're unselfish. We say it every week, and they just ran hard, and those 5 guys plus Jonathan Perry 6 really opened up a ton of holes for them. And again, the physicality wasn't just on the defense side of the ball, man. Those 5 guys up front, Perry included, and the way we had physical runs. Again, I'm telling you, our physicality was the difference of the game.
Well, today's show is all about the ground game, it seems like. In the next block, we have a sit-down interview with all 5 offensive linemen plus tight end Jonathan Perry. And in the next block, we have our first 2-player guest appearance. Zay Middleton, Caden Jones, also with running backs coach and special teams coordinator Alex Modicue will join. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But 272 rush yards, it's the most in a game this season for the Cavs. And just the second time you put up 250 in a game, you had 252 against Jenkins. But on the passing attack as well, you just saw another high-pointed catch from MJ Knight. He, along with many players, are playing their best through the pass game right now.
Oh yeah, it's they know that it all complements each other. Our receivers are coming to the sideline after we pounded the ball the first 2 drives, knowing that like their time was coming because obviously we proved that we could run the ball at a very, very high level. So they know, hey, all right, hey, they got to kind of load the box a little bit more. Yeah. Now it's my turn, and that's the way this offense is built. It doesn't matter. We're going to take what they give us, and Whitefield they try to defend the pass a little bit, and we showed off our running game. I think we look like we're this team that slings it around a whole bunch. We RPO a ton, so there's always a run tag majority of the time to it. But, man, we got backs that could run the football, and we got offensive line play that play at a really high level.
You said that you had texts on Saturday from current wide receivers saying, Coach, the way we ran the ball, we need to do that again next week. You don't get that from many programs.
I get, James, I get my Saturday afternoon text from James and what he, from the previous game, and then obviously what he sees on the next opponents, and that was like his first thing. Coach, we got to run the ball the way we did against Whitefield. He's a guy that should want to sling it 50 times, but it's just, I said it week 1, 2, 3, when you build a bond and you focus on culture first and football second, I really feel like, like talent's going to always show, but like that culture is going to get you to the next level. And that was our main focus, and it's showing. MJ Knight comes over to the sideline. I'd say Southeast Bullock just sticks out to me. Marlon Knight, Jalen Hicks, we needed a first down there, so they get the ball to Zay. You know what I'm saying? It bleeds over. These guys are unselfish guys. They love each other, and it showed Friday.
Yeah, so this week you got Fellowship Christian. It's the 5th Final Four appearance for the Cavaliers in school history after a dominant 52-7 win over Whitefield Academy last Friday at home. We're going to take a break here on the Calvary Coaches Show. We come back. We have that sit-down interview with the entire offensive line, plus tight end Jonathan Perry, next.
Represent the 9-1-2 tonight.
Hey man, be great on 3. 1, 2, 3. You ready?
Show them early. Be passionate. Play for the person next to you. It's all about us. Everything it takes to win this football game. Lay it out on the line. Show them how Savannah football does it. Let's go. Be great on 3. 1, 2, 3. Our program is built on love, first and foremost. You love your brother, you love your coaches, you love your community, you love Jesus Christ. It's built on servant leadership. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna sacrifice me for you.
Well, you just heard us talk about it before the break, but the offensive line helping the running back room rush for 272 yards, a new season high for the Cavaliers through 12 games. And, Coach, we had an interview with them this morning. Before we get to it, that is a group that is very mature, and they're really at the forefront of what's going on this season.
Yeah, they're well coached. They're coached hard. Coach Cam coaches them hard, man, and they love it. They mentioned his name a ton. They love him because relationships were built first. And like Jonathan Perry said, communication is such a big thing. They do a lot of it themselves. We do a lot of film study. We do a lot of checks and different, this front gets to this check and this front goes to this check, and they do it themselves, and they communicate a ton. And like Jonathan said, there's times where his job is if we miss something, he can make them right within our scheme. So they're playing for each other, man, and they know that they don't get a ton of notoriety, and they're okay with it. When you look at Carson Dean, he's an offensive lineman. He's definition of offensive lineman.
His belly's out and his arm is out during this interview. Just heads up.
It doesn't matter what the weather's like. That's the way he's going to be. And again, they're selfless guys. They're the definition of servant leadership.
Well, here's the notoriety. Here's the interview with the offensive line.
My name is Bryson Terry, and I play left guard.
My name is John Swindell, and I play right guard.
My name is Carson Dean, and I play center.
My name is Elijah Kiefer, and I play left tackle.
My name is Jonathan Perry. I play tight end.
My name is Lawson Bentley. I play right tackle.
This is a group that has really grown throughout the season. There are 3 seniors, 3 juniors, and upperclassmen-led offensive line is very important for a football team. How have you guys felt? You have come into your own as a unit that is pushing you guys to a Final Four.
Yeah, so we've all played together for quite a few years usually, us being the oldest position group on the team. And from game 1, we've just worked together, all these practices, the sweat, all the tears, all that jazz, and just really bonded togetger.
It goes beyond like football, us being like good friends, all of us, and I feel like it's like more like chemistry. I feel like because we've all like John said, we played for a while, and we just got that communication, and we got Coach Brown, Coach Cam to help us out, so it's pretty easy on our part.
How important is it for this group to truly be a unit? And you're one of 11, and but it's a team game. Specifically offensive line, why is that a position group that needs to be bonded together?
It's important to be bonded because, you got to know what the fronts are, what the defense is basically, and it all starts with you. We all got to be locked in on the same page or, James is dead.
I think it's important because, this is where all the beef at. We call it the trenches. You got to give a shout out to Won't Stop athletes. We practices. Our job is to really put the D-line in the dirt. and protect James. So, you know, it's important to have beef up front.
You're like a hybrid offensive lineman. Tight end is one of the most unique positions on the field. For you, a game against Whitefield, you don't see any catches, but you were maybe more impactful in Whitefield than any other game. How do you see that position that you are in right now?
I mean, me personally, I've grown to it, and like now, like if it was my freshman year and I like played this position, I would probably be more selfish. But like you got to be a team player, and I feel like me blocking is way more important than me catching, because we got guys like Chummy, Todd, Jalen, and Marlon who can go get the ball, and like we got to have somebody big up there who can block too. So it starts up front basically.
Caden had the best game of his season. Zay had another incredible game. Knowing that you see those numbers on a page, and it's more than just the stats, but you see the numbers, that starts with you guys. What did you feel going into Whitefield, and why was the offensive line able to click so well?
It was a confidence thing. We worked very well in practice to go over the plays and all that. I mean, Whitefield was a very interesting team to scheme for, but we felt very confident by the time game time came around. So
what about preparation that's an obvious question, but why is preparation so important, especially this time of year?
Because teams are getting so much better the deeper in the playoffs you get, so details matter.
The three in front are seniors, the three in back are juniors. It's an older group, but specifically the three seniors, what did this year, and as you hopefully have a couple more weeks, what did this year do for you?
Yeah, it's been very impactful for me, specifically because I tend to get in my head a lot and just beat myself up when I mess up. But Coach Brown and Coach Cam, they're just there all the time. Just pet me up. Just when I'm down, just get me up.
This team means a lot to me, especially this year. I feel like we've built a lot of bonds that I hope I can continue to have even when I'm out of high school, just to get to know all my teammates so well. It's like a brotherhood.
It's really grown me as a person. It's making me more sociable with everybody else around me, have a greater bond with my teammates, coaches too, and plus the coaches have also helped me become, Coach Brown especially has helped me become a bigger person with a lot of things in my life.
These three left a pretty good legacy, though, have left a pretty good legacy. What do you take from working with these guys as you become seniors in just a short few weeks?
These three are very experienced linemen, and I've learned a lot from them, this being my first year starting. I mean, just being beside them, and every time I would mess up, they would always pick me up, and just having that support system as an offensive line. That support system is very important going into next year, building those bonds, continuing to build those bonds, and be ready for the future.
I feel like these guys, they've taught me like a lot of communication. Like they taught me how to communicate better. Like I've learned that like it's better to over communicate than under communicate when we're up front, because like we're all where it starts, like we said. And like if we under communicate, like we mess up on like a lot of the plays we run. Like say John's pulling or something, I can always make him right. Lawson's pulling something, I can always make him right. So I think it's just easy like communication and chemistry. I would say this Final Four is really big for us, because like since the start of the season, everybody like really doubted our team, saying that like we really couldn't do it, saying we couldn't do it without Thomas Dupa. We lost that old line, we couldn't do it. So it's kind of big for us, just believing in ourselves and like overcoming like the haters. And it's like a get back, because they sent us home. Prince Avenue sent us home, Cedar Grove sent us home. We can finally get our own and like get redemption.
Me personally, I'm just really hyped to play in the cold. I honestly hope it snows, which they say it's a good chance. And yeah, I'm ready.
Well, you heard it there. Carson Dean, he says he's looking forward to the cold the most out of this game on Friday. Coach, rain, it might be some snow. What's the excitement level to get out there?
I don't like it. I hate it.
You're a Jersey guy.
Yeah, I live here now. No, like it's just playing football. I love for it to be just normal conditions. Cold is fine. I hope the rain holds off for us, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
They got to play in it also to be. These are two really, really good football teams playing against each other. So regardless of what the conditions are, it's going to be a good football game.
Before we move on to the studs in the running back room, what would you say your takeaway from that interview is? You got a chance to listen to it. That's 6 guys who really add to this football team with big personalities.
Just, you watch it and you see where they were and to where they are now. You know what I'm saying? Man, the process out of this whole thing, when you're on journeys like this, you got to make sure that you focus on the process and not just the results. Hopefully the result is getting to a state championship, winning a state championship. But like me and Coach Chumley were talking, he's got endless experience in this. Is just like, man, the process. We were talking about what we looked like in May during spring football to June to now, and it's just an amazing process. And those guys right there, because again, Jonathan Perry's right. There was a lot of people that said that we weren't going to be very good, and to have the season that we had led by those guys is super impressive.
And now it's the 5th Final Four appearance in school history in just 2 days. So before we end the show this afternoon, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. The running back, Zay Middleton and Caden Jones, join us, along with running backs coach, Coach Modicue. See you next.
Hey, 104. 104. We on to the next one.
Everything that's self-absorbed, everything that's about you, put it to the side. Don't take nothing for granted. And sacrifice everything you got for this football team.
Senior night, man. Hey, we had to take one home for the seniors. Big game tonight. Family on me, family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family. Another day of day school, baby. 1-0 every week. Let's go. You know what this is. Come on. We got to keep stuffing it. Refuse to lose personality. That's how we fight. Hey, guys, we 1, 2, 3.
Another team win, and we're going to go on to the next one, man. Back out next week.
We've got a busy booth for the 3rd block of the Calvary Coaches Show. We've got Caden Jones, Zay Middleton, and Coach Modicue. Guys, fellas, what's it like? You guys are playing football in December. How excited are you to still have the pads on Wednesday mornings?
It feels good. Last year we got kicked out 3rd round of playoffs, so it feels good to be back in December.
Zay, you're a younger guy on this team, but you've performed to such a high standard out of the running back position. What's it been like for you with so many talented upperclassmen, but you're contributing the same way as an underclassman?
Being able to sit my first 2 years, I was able to learn a lot. Even from Caden, I was able to learn a lot as a younger running back.
Yeah. Well, Coach Q, going into this season, you had some injuries early on, but what about this duo? Did you think, and when did it kind of start clicking for them as RB1 and 2?
Yeah, like they're like I said, they're brothers. Like they always rooting for each other. They both had a couple injuries this season. I I told them as running backs, you're never gonna probably be healthy. But I just remember them as freshmen. They were as freshmen. They were just trying to figure it out, right? Sophomores, they were trying to they improved, and as juniors, they matured. And credit to the offensive line. Like I always tell them that. I tell them run hard when it's hard to run, but just as far as running backs, they're better. They're also better human beings. Like they're great in the classroom. They're great teammates. In this day and age where everybody wants to be the main RB1, that's not them. They're rooting harder for each other than it is than themselves. So I appreciate that. I always tell them I wish I had their talent when I was coming up. So
Well, I'm sure you did. Let's put that out there first. But, I mean, it doesn't get much more even across the board. 91 carries here for Caden. Middleton, you got 86, and then both 630-ish yards on the season. Big difference is that you getting in the end zone 16 times this season, 5 games with 2 or more touchdowns, and then 4 games with 3 or more touchdowns. That's a lot of points. What is your mentality when you get out there? It's a goal line situation, and you just got to punch it in.
Just run hard, run behind my pads. They trust me at the goal line, so I just do what I can do and just push, keep my feet moving, and just score.
Coaches say that they do you have something to add on that with the touchdowns? How many he's scoring?
yeah, I mean, Caden is like, he's 200 and about 5 pounds now. He, like I said, he had a hamstring injury in the summer, but he's a hard runner. He's tough to take down. I call him thunder and lightning, right? Because Zay's gonna fly through the hole, Caden's gonna be the bully through the hole. So, and they're a great complement to each other. So we get in the goal line. We feel confident with either one. But we set ourselves against Whitefield and said, hey, listen, we got the offensive line, and we said we're gonna run the football. We told Coach Cam, like, let's run the football, and if we could be able to do that, then it's gonna be hard for them to be able to stop us. And we felt confident in that. The offensive line feels confident in us running. We trust them, and we built off trust here at Calvary Day School. So.
For that last game against Whitefield Academy, 272 total rush yards on the game, the most for the Cavaliers this season. But in that game, 135 yards for you, north of 70 yards for you. Zay, we'll kind of talk about your journey now this season. You were getting reps early in the season, but that SEB game in the second half, that really felt like your breakout party. What do you remember from that night? Because that was a tight one-score game that you got so many of the touches in the second half to lead to victory.
To be honest, the only thing I really remember from the game is the line and all the people encouraging me, saying that I got this and that I can finish out this game hard.
Yeah. So much of this team always talks about the brotherhood. What are your guys' thoughts on that? What is your testimony to how close this team is and that's propelled you to a Final Four?
We are truly a brotherhood. We are really a family. We have done so many things together over from the summer to now that it's hard to break our bond.
Yeah, Caden, how about you? What is your thought on the brotherhood, and how much do you enjoy being on this team?
I enjoyed it a lot. I like the journey. I like the journey, the path, and I'm ready to win this state championship.
All right, well, let's talk about Friday then, because, talk with Coach Cameron. He's all week. I'm just focused on this game. I know you guys have that same focus. What do you see from fellowship? How are you going to try and attack the defense? Does the way you run change a little bit based on the defense? Can you kind of explain how you game plan for a team like that?
Well, the way we run doesn't really change. We still got to run hard. We still got to make sure we're getting down the field. But they are a team that comes downhill real fast, real well. So we have planned for that. And I truly do think me and Caden, we can still get a good amount of yards against them.
Caden, what are some of the things that through film and through scout defense, you are saying, okay, this is what I need to focus on against the Paladin defense?
Same thing from last week. Just run hard, trust my eyes, keep going, keep moving my feet. That's it. Run hard.
Coach Modicue, when you game plan with these guys in your backfield, what kind of confidence, knowing that when you put together something, it may be challenging for them, but you know that they have that bandwidth to do it?
Yeah, like I said, it really starts back like when they were freshmen and even the summer. Like I coached them hard. They probably would say too hard sometimes, but I love them even harder. So like I want to have confidence in them, and Coach Cam to have confidence in us. And the game plan won't change for us. We'll get our scheme. They schematically scheme up everything we'll do on defense, but for us is to be able to run the football, to be able to block, to be able to do all the little intangibles that we can do to help the team. It's not just about us running the football. We're gonna block for James. We need to block for James, and when we need to get those 12 yards, I tell them like it's like 4th and 1 every time we touch it, right? So we're gonna have to be as physical as we can, and that's what I think our whole team embodies right now. Just being as physical as we can, run as hard as we can, and believe in each other and trust each other. And I think that's what I try to empower to them every day. I try to coach them hard as I can so they can be the best that they can be.
Yeah, and it's shown, Coach.
Yeah.
What's the excitement level for Friday? You excited to strap up the pads and get up to Roswell? I heard there may be a little bit of snow. Are we okay with that? I like the snow. Midwest kid. You guys good with the snow?
Yeah, I haven't played in the snow.
Yeah? All right. We'll see if it's a snow game. It might just be some sleet, but we'll see. All right, fellas. Thank you so much for coming on the Coaches Show and making the first 4-person booth work.
That's right.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. When we come back, Coach Cameron and I are breaking down Fellowship Christian.
Okay, this ain't a normal game. It feels like a minute since we played football. I want to look back at this thing and say Calvary dominated the football game from start to finish. One cloud. Two cloud. Three cloud. Bring it down. Let's go dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate. Let's go. I told you if we continue to progress, hey, we're gonna be a heck of an out when come November.
Another one at day school, you're gonna catch out next week.
We've earned the right here now. And what we've done Monday through Thursday this week, we played great tonight.
Hey, it's gonna go down. I'm telling you.
And if we bounce back from the way that we played on Friday, it's gonna be a problem for this night.
Happy homecoming, Cavs. Another dub. We'll see y'all next week.
Welcome back inside the Calvary Coaches Show. We are live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street in mid-Savannah. Fellowship Christian, they are the top seed in the private bracket. They lost to Hebron Christian earlier this season, but power rankings-wise, they jumped the Lions. They're now the top seed, and you guys got to go see them. What are you seeing off the tape? Because I know you guys have really dove into Fellowship Christian since after the game on Friday.
Yeah, definitely. It was a quick turnaround. You get film Saturday night. You don't sleep much, and you get right to it. Really good team. 2 dynamic guys in the backfields, oftentimes in the same mesh together, which is dangerous. They are super well coached, probably the most well coached team that we've seen on film all season. Their coach does a phenomenal job offensively and defensively, and special teams. Man, they're a great special teams team. Super dynamic in the return game. Listen, they're the 1 seed for a reason. They play really, really high level football, and we know that we got to play our best game in order to beat them.
Fellowship Christian, you mentioned that kind of the duo that they have running. Quarterback Jonathan Granby, 865 yards. CJ Guyvers, 986. He leads the team. But going back to a little bit of history for these programs, 5 appearances in the Final Four for Calvary. Fellowship Christian has 5 in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
This is a powerhouse private football program right now in the state of Georgia. What excitement do you have that you get to share a field with this team? Because you're going to go out there, you're going to try and beat them, but it is a good football program to see.
It's what you said. It's the difference between being a program and a team. You know, teams kind of come and go. You know, one time they'll be really good, and then you won't hear about them for a few more years. My goal is to continue Calvary being a program. You know, Coach Stroud's created a dynamite program, and my job is to continue that and hopefully even raise the bar and keep it moving forward. Fellowship's that program. You know, that they are a program. 5 out of the last 7 years in the semifinals. Your goal is always to play on Thanksgiving. Man, they've exceeded that. They're playing into December 5 out of the last 7 years. So these are 2 programs they're going to get after it on Friday, and I believe it's going to be a high-level football game.
What jumps off the tape most?
They're how multiple they are on defense. A lot of different alignments. They're always schematically sound in those different alignments. And like I said, those 2 guys. Listen, and they got 2 more guys outside. Number 2, a receiver that also plays safety for them, could fly. A clip that sticks out is running back from Hebron had about a 10-yard cushion on him, and that guy can move. And 2 kind of hawked them down from behind. So he could definitely run. They got a big-time receiver, number 10 on the outside. And they changed personnel grouping so much. So like I said, this is as complete of a team as you're going to face.
When you get to the postseason, we talked a little bit about going and preparing for a playoff game. Does it feel like for you guys as coaches, like kid and candy stores, being able to break down different tape from different areas? How enjoyable is it to game plan? It's going to give you stress and give you headaches, but is there an enjoyment side of it?
Yeah. My wife would probably tell you different, but yeah, it's fun. It's my favorite part is the Saturday through like Thursday. Like you could have play calling and all that stuff. That the process and watching it all come together, and you have something on paper and then live it looks terrible, or vice versa, where you didn't think it would look so good and you really really like it. So you know, watching the pieces of the puzzle come together every single week. And like I said, we don't just line up in a front and play football the other time. Like Coach Chumley, Coach Maros, man, they are working their butt off, and we are very intricate on defense, just like we are on offense. So watching our guys put those pieces to the puzzle together, it's a lot of fun throughout the week.
What's been the most impressive thing about your team postseason specific after a 21-day break? They have just ran through it the first 2 games so far.
Their maturity. You know, like I said, we only have 7 seniors. You know, 2 are hurt. And, you know, so we kind of play with 5, 1 being a kicker, which is a huge part of our team. But,
and the other 3 on the offensive line.
Correct. You know, but, like, you know, just their overall maturity. Like, you could have real conversations with these guys. You know what I'm saying? It's great. You know, it's you could have real conversations, mature conversations. Our film studies are so in-depth, and they're locked in. And you know, so it's even though we're young in grade, I think football-wise, we are very, very mature. So that's something that I'm proud of. I think our coaches have done a really good job of improving their maturity as the season gone on, because, you know, when we set one standard, and that standard is super high, and the goal is to meet or exceed the standard every single day. So if you don't let up on that, you have no other choice but then to mature and bring one way every single week.
You mentioned in that answer that you feel like you can give it to them straight at times. What will the message be going into Friday? What has the message been? Because technically Calvary is the underdog in this game, but if you guys play like you did on Friday, it's a pretty even matchup.
Yeah, that you got to play your best football, you know, all the time. Like everybody, you heard, I think it was Carson Dean said, like, you know, or Kiefer said, you know, it gets harder week after week after week. I'm like a sponge. I'm 39 years old, so technically still kind of young in this, even though I've coached for some time. But like, read an article about Franklin Stevens, coach at Burke County, storied head coach in the state of Georgia, and they were down 27-7 at half this week. And all he talked to his kids at halftime back was someone shows their true character when adversity sets in. Everybody's good when it's good. And we talked to our kids about that this morning. Like, there will be adversity Friday. Whether, hopefully not a touchdown, but it might be a long run. It may be a turnover. It may be something we didn't do correctly that needs to be fixed. So make sure your true character shows. And if we're going to talk about love and servant leadership and trust, that needs to stay even when maybe the game's not going the way we want it to go.
Yeah. Well, it's a big one on Friday, the top seed in the GHSA private bracket. Fellowship Christian is 10-1 against Calvary Day, who is 11-1 on the 2025 season. Coach, final thoughts before Final Four?
I'm excited. You don't take this for granted because it's hard. This is not something that happens every year. you don't get complacent with it. But I told our guys, enjoy it. You know, this is something that they earned, and you know, now there's 2 more games.
Yeah.
So you know, we're excited for it.
On to the business trip, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Wheels up at 9 a.m. on Friday.
That's right.
That'll do it for this week's edition of the Calvary Coaches Show. The Cavaliers and Paladins kick off at 7 p.m. in Roswell, Georgia on Friday evening. Stay locked into the Calvary Athletics social media pages. If you can't make the trip 4.5 hours north, we'll have score updates for you and final immediately following the game. With the head football coach of the Cavaliers, Jason Cameron, I am Jeffrey Roberts. We'll talk to you next week.
Nice job.